welcome to Candid. Hello, and welcome to Candid Conversations. We are so excited to have you all tonight. We have the most phenomenal guest today. We have Dr. Shon Kyle in the building. But first, before we even get started, let's just say, what is Candid Conversations? Candid Conversations is a Facebook group that focuses on empowering women's mind, body, soul, and spirit. We emphasize mental health, wellness, and awareness. We support each other as we process, recover, and heal through various traumatic experiences that we may encounter on our journey. And so today we have Dr. Shon Kyle, and I have just been in awe of this woman. I found her on Facebook. I don't know what I was doing scrolling around, and I said, this woman is phenomenal. She's my new big sister, my self proclaimed big sister, you know. And so she knows all about what we're all about at Candid Conversations. This woman eats, sleeps, and breathes everything that we're all about. Holistic faith wellness. She has coined the phrase. So before we even get into today's topic about holistic faith wellness, let me just tell you a little bit about Dr. Kyle. This woman, I am telling you, and I'm just going to go on and tell you about her. And she is just a powerhouse. She is phenomenal. But Dr. Kyle is the founder and executive director of Faith Forward Ministries, a nonprofit organization dedicated to encouraging, serving, and teaching others through its ministry. She is the mother of five and encourages people to move forward in life holistically through faith and to become their best selves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. She has a BA, a MED, a JD, and a PhD. Let me tell you something. It's going to take me about 10 minutes to even catch up with this woman when she starts speaking because she has more letters behind her name than the alphabet. This woman is, intelligence is not even the word. She also has certificates in ministry, alternative dispute resolution, and compliance. She spent 20 years in higher education, law teaching, and executive administration before answering her call into holistic faith ministry. You know, she has such a journey and has so much to give to women. I'm just going to tell you just a little bit more about her. You would never know her journey from riches to rags and rags to riches again by merely looking at the Cosby Show book cover of her life. Family, education, career, big home, vacations, galas. I mean, you name it, she's done it. She had it all. She was raised in an affluent suburb of Chicago with two college educated professional parents. She was a high school track star, basketball, homecoming queen, AP honor student, college scholarship recipient, and the first person in her family to earn a law degree and prime for success. Dr. Kyle was married for 20 years. 20 years, people, to her college sweetheart. And they lived in a big, and I'm talking about big, and I'm trying to still get invited over there, honey, to see this big old house. They lived in a big house, okay? They drove the best cars, attended, and I think she had a Maserati. I'm going to ask her about that because I've been wanting a Maserati. But anyway, you get the point. They attended a mega church where they were actively involved in leading the marriage ministry and were well respected in the community. They were raising five outstanding, athletic, mannerable, intelligent, beautiful super kids involved in all the right affluent organizations and attended the best private schools. She was the member of the most elite women's clubs. And I've still been, I got my doctor, and I'm still trying to get into these clubs, and they say I'm not a good fit. So, I mean, you have got to be something to get into these clubs. I'm telling you. And organizations. She's in the best social groups to network with all the right women. Her family traveled together, prayed together, played together. She had become the dream of a family like The Cosby Show, the show she grew up watching and used as her inspiration for achieving the perfect professional and affluent family life. That life was perfect until it wasn't. So, anyway, after that, she went into her traumatic spiral, and I'm just going to I'm not going to get all into it. I'm just going to give you a little, it came crashing down. And so, Dr. Kyle, I'm not going to tell them the rest. I'm going to share some of that for you. But I just wanted them to really get a picture of when you say the perfect life. Because when I'm reading about you and I learned about you, I said, that sounds so similar to my story. This is my sister. I want to know, first of all, before we really get into it, did I miss anything on the introduction, Dr. Kyle? Because it's so much.
Oh no, you got it all, honey, and more than I was expecting you to share. So you really hit it. You hit home with that one. Thank you.
Okay. And so, you know, first of all, before we get into everything, can you just tell us a little bit about, first of all, what is holistic faith wellness? Let's just get the definition out there for all of us, because when you introduced it to me, I thought I had heard about everything. I didn't even know what it was. So can you tell us a little bit about that and
Sure.
about how it helped you on your journey, um, and what all happened after your picture perfect life, and just kind of bring us up to date on how it all ties together.
Sure. It would be my pleasure. I often say that to people. You have to be on a holistic faith wellness journey to make this thing work. And people are like, "What? What are you talking about?" I know what faith is, and I know what holistic wellness is. It incorporates, all these parts of you. And I said, well, holistic faith wellness blends those. What it does is it looks at all aspects of someone's life, and it starts from the foundation of spiritual wellness. And so holistic faith wellness starts with your faith.
Okay, great.
And if you're spiritually well,
Mhm.
and all the other things manifest best for your journey. So you start with spiritual wellness,
Right.
and then you move into physical wellness, and then you move into your emotional wellness, and then your mental wellness. It's a strategic, um, 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 purposeful, intentional way of moving forward in your life. They always say that faith without actions is dead, right? So it's not enough to just believe that there's a God, to just believe in Jesus. That's a start,
Mhm.
right? We start with that, and we start with that belief and move everything else forward in life. So if we have a grounding in our faith, then physically we can get well. We suffer from all kinds of illnesses. We need to sometimes change our diet. We need to sometimes change our exercise routine. And those things are scriptural. It talks about our body being a temple. And so if you know that from your Bible, it makes sense to then make physical wellness your next step. After you have started to see some physical wellness, some evidence that your faith is working, then you can move into your emotional wellness. How is it that you feel about yourself? What are some things that you are telling yourself? How are you surrounding yourself with people that can pour goodness into your life and confidence into your life? And you start to get emotionally well, then you can move into your mental wellness. And for some people like me, I needed to actually see a therapist. I actually had to get um, expert professional assistance with my mental wellness. And there's no shame in that. People suffer from all kinds of trauma that may need to be addressed with a therapist or a physician. But that mental wellness also talks about transforming your mind into, just a piece about sometimes you're in a situation, Dr. Carla, and God may or may not get you out of it. But you have to be mentally strong enough to deal with the situation and sometimes make it through it, and not just survive it, but thrive after it. So your holistic faith wellness journey incorporates all four aspects, but we have to get your faith together first. So that's what that is. And how I came up with that phrase really came about from my own traumatic experience. I mean, we all have crossroads in life, and I hope no one has as much trauma as I have had. And I'm not saying that, my experience is unique. I'm not saying that my experience is the only experience that can propel you into a holistic faith wellness journey. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just sharing that it was my trauma. It was my experience that started me on my journey. And so mine was really a 1, 2, 3 punch that happened so rapidly, and no real break in between, no opportunity to get myself together so I could face the next one. They just all came at one time. And as you beautifully, and I thank you again for the beautiful introduction, as you wonderfully said, my life appeared perfect to myself and to others. And really, I idolized my own existence. And that's already against, all scripture as it is. We can't have any idols, we just serve our Lord and Savior. And so that was wrong. But that first punch came with my career. I had been a high-powered university executive in high-level leadership. I had been a commissioner, doing extremely well in my career, making groundbreaking articles, and just doing extremely well in higher education. First African-American woman in 100-year history to be appointed as a commissioner for the Accrediting Council for Independent Colleges and Schools in DC. So I was meeting senators and dignitaries from around the world and sharing how financial aid policies and admission policies should be written to further the education of so many students on a non-traditional education trajectory. So I oversaw, over 900 campuses, policies and procedures. And so anyhow, with that career, moving as fast as it was, I suppose, you make some unfortunate, quote unquote, enemies, if you will, frenemies. And in my situation, I ended up wrongfully terminated. I did, with the legal background I have, of course, I was fighting for my career and my name, and started a civil lawsuit. Really just wanted my job back. There was, I was a whistleblower, and I didn't feel that it was, right to be terminated. But that civil lawsuit angered them so much that my case ended up in a criminal lawsuit. So it became retaliatory. And in their retaliation, the criminal suit, it was a 17-count indictment for things I had never done. I couldn't even dream to be able to figure out how to do the stuff they said I did.
Wow.
And fortunately for me, I had the best legal team ever. And they were able to get all 17 counts. I was made whole in that the judge found me not guilty of anything, but that was a 3.5-year trial. That is every week, go to court, gets body scanned, people looking at you like you're guilty. That was 3.5 years of, constant trial procedures, presenting evidence, having witnesses on stands, constantly, facing my accusers, and not being free. When you are out on indictment, especially for 17 counts, you are not able to leave the state to buy gas. So I used to, I live in Chicago, and I would have to get permission to even cross the border to go into Indiana. And at the time, I had children who were in college, out of state. So I would have to go to court, petition the court. Can I get I called it my pink slip. Can I get a pink slip pass to please go visit my son in college in Florida? oh, or another son might be, again, I have 5 children. So 4 of my boys, they might have a sporting event just over the border in Wisconsin, but I would have to go to court and get permission because I could get arrested if I didn't get that permission. So
God.
that was one major, major, major punch. And that was from 2015. And then I was found not guilty in 2019. So that took up 3.5 years of my life. But during that time, that would have been enough. That would have been enough to make you go ballistic because you can't function in your career when that's going on because there's too many clouds of suspicion. People don't really want to hire you. They don't know what's going on.
Right.
You have your team of family and friends who believe in you. But then you have a whole lot of people who just, they're just not really sure, whether you did this or not. So if that wasn't enough, that would have been enough to take most people out.
Right.
That my marriage fell apart, Dr. Carla. 22 years of marriage, all of us, it was not the right time to get a divorce.
No, it was not.
That was the time where we're supposed to bond together.
Right.
And no matter what's going on behind closed doors, we're going to make it. But that wasn't the case.
Dr. Shon, do you feel like that all of your legal battles and maybe the financial piece was put a strain on it, or do you feel like there were little cracks along the way that possibly you just were oblivious to?
Well, I think it's a mixture of that. Of course, the legal bills, we lost our house. My car was repossessed. I had no money. I went from a high 6-figure salary to 0 in 2.2 seconds.
Oh, God.
That does put a heavy strain on the other spouse to financially take care of things. And it just wasn't able to be. But I think that that is true that happened. But there were other underlying issues that you kind of, you see the yellow flags. And sometimes when you're with someone and you just ignore them, sometimes they turn red and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to deal with it. And so those things, become worse when you're financially strained. Right?
Absolutely.
There were definitely some marital issues. And I'll just leave it like that. There were definitely big cracks, but in my effort to keep my family together and to keep perfect existence, I was willing at that time to just overlook the foolishness that was going on in my marriage. And, so my ex-husband, my husband at the time, thought it was best for him that we got a divorce. So if I wasn't in criminal court and I wasn't in the civil lawsuit court, I was in divorce court. All week I was in somebody's court trying to deal with, child support issues and all that foolishness that goes with divorce. It was not a good time. So I had, 3 court cases going on. And then, Dr. Carla, I wasn't feeling well. Nobody would feel well under that. And I went to the doctor and was diagnosed with lupus. I had signs of it in the past, but they didn't really know what it was. And so it was, now I have to deal with a chronic, serious, debilitating disease. Lupus is not a joke. It is invisible, but you have the swelling, the headaches, the migraines, the shivers, the rashes, the fever, the fatigue, all of this stuff going on. And all of my hair fell out.
Oh my God.
You lose all your hair. And I always had beautiful hair. My teeth started falling out. I'm like, everything in my life was crashing. Not a little bit, but crashing. I had to move in with my parents. I had no ability to do anything.
Wow.
It was under those circumstances. I mean, I literally remember the day. I was underneath the bed. You ever got underneath your bed, Dr. Carla?
I wanted to get under there, but I was too scared to get under there.
I don't mean under the covers, like in the bed. No, I got under the bed. I just got under the bed. I wanted to get as small as I could be. And I was begging. I was like, Lord, please just, I got life insurance. Just let me go. Just let me come be with you, because I wasn't going to commit suicide. I just did not want to be here anymore. I didn't feel like I had any value. I had any worth, but not even for my children. I figured my mother could finish raising them. It was not a good place. And there that I really had to get deeper into my faith.
Yes.
It was by faith, one day at a time, one step at a time, that I was able to get out from under the bed.
Wow.
The next day I could take a shower. The next day, those kind of things, so that I could get back to being the mother that I was. I loved my children.
Wow.
I was missing out by letting all this stuff around me take over.
Right.
And I noticed something. When I started getting stronger in my faith
Right.
and started believing the words that God said about me,
My
that
God.
I am beautiful, I am worthy. He will stick close to the brokenhearted. He will never forsake me. He'll walk with me through the shadow of death. When I started believing it, it's amazing how everything else started working out.
Wow.
And being able to physically take care of myself, right? I could feed myself, take a shower, go to yoga class, do a strength training class, ride my bike. I feel pretty good. When you get physically well, then I start emotionally well, and from there mentally well. And I wrote a book, I got a PhD, all of that under that same time frame. And so I said, I got to share this. I have to share this with other women.
Yes. Yes.
You may not get out of your situation, but how you think about it and how you move forward from it is so important I couldn't just keep it to myself.
Wow.
So that's how my journey started. Everyone has their own, crossroads, and you don't have to have trauma in order to institute holistic faith wellness.
Right.
It's better as preventative medicine than reactionary medicine.
Right. Right. But just in your case, that's how it came about. All of these traumatic events, it kind of reminds me, you were like a female Job. It was like everything that could possibly hit you all at once. And, but you know how some people say, but it was for a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I truly believe that.
I feel like although you were in your comfort zone and you were willing to accept, how you said, the different cracks that were in your marriage, God said no. God said, you may accept it, but daughter, I don't accept it. There's something better for you. There's something more for you. I have so much more for you than what this is right now. And we're not accepting this. So it may hurt right now, but I'm fixing, okay, we got to this whole foundation is cracked. So we got to go all the way down to the foundation, baby. I know you love this house, but we got to take this all the way down to the slab, to the white meat. And we got to rebuild this thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to put these doctors and stuff to the side. We just got to get real with this. And we got to take this all the way down. And I'm going to build you up as the woman that I want you to be. You get what I'm saying? Because all of these titles and accolades and this and that doesn't mean anything, because I see so much more that I want for you. I want you to have true peace, true happiness, true joy. All of this is smokes and mirrors, baby.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a facade, but I'm fixing to build you up for real.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
That's exactly it.
That, we don't want to be the sacrificial lamb. Even Jesus, when he was on the cross, said, Father, if it's for you, take this from me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's painful, but somebody has to do it. Somebody has to be the one to say that you can survive. Everything that you think is important is God. It's God. And so we have to, and even with this pandemic and everything that's going on in society, is showing us that it's not the restaurants, it's not this, it's not all of these things that we use to entertain ourselves. It's God. We're getting back to the basics. And so God, I feel like he just used you as an example because you were so high up and you were in so many affluent organizations. I've tried to get into those organizations, Dr. Shon. They said I wasn't a good fit. I wasn't sophisticated enough. I got my doctorate and I thought I had a gold magic ring. I'm like, oh, they'll let me into all of these little clubs now. Honey, they told me to go sit back down. Listen, they said that little doctorate ain't nothing. Go get you something else and take some etiquette classes and whatever. I'm just a little girl from, the hood or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying all that to say is, we had to because so many people are living in I call it an alternate state of reality.
Mhm.
where, you know, they know certain things aren't right, but they're willing to just overlook it just to keep up, you know what I'm saying? That Huxtable, you know,
Yeah.
lifestyle. Like, you know, I got me a doctor, he's a lawyer, and we lived in our little house. We got our dog and our white picket fence, and we just doing this. But God has more for us. He wants to show us what's real in life. He doesn't want
That's
us
right.
to live in an alternate state of reality. He wants us to know that what's important is in life, the most important thing, like you said, is faith and having a relationship with him, and then also helping and loving and serving others, because that's what Jesus was a servant leader. And I feel like that's what he's doing in this day. He's taking the church out of the four walls, and he's creating, you know, his body of leaders and ministers that's outside helping people and building relationships and loving on people. You know, God will use people to fulfill his work on this earth. And that's truly what you're doing. So do you like with this holistic faith ministry that you have, and you've coined that phrase holistic faith ministry, holistic faith wellness, how would someone be able to work more one-on-one with you to
Mhm.
really, you know, because there's so many women that's out here that's going through such a similar situation. It may not be as drastic as yours, but you know, they say too much too much is given, too much is called, you know, your calling, and what you have to sacrifice is higher. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so you have such a high call on your life, it had to be that way. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so, how would women that are going through a similar situation where their marriage may be falling apart, their career, things just are, it just seems like they can't get a grip on things quick enough. How could you walk them through? Is there any type of classes or seminars or workshops that you hold to just help them to get these first steps in and build on the faith, physical, emotional, and mental?
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing it to a tangible thing, because it could seem very broad, right? And as women, we take care of so many other people's needs, and we rarely take care of ours. We want our husbands to be okay, we want our kids to be okay, we want our friends to be okay. We want everybody to be okay.
Yes.
We then make ourselves okay.
Yeah.
So yes, Faith Forward Ministries is a full service ministry, right? I'm outside of the four walls. So we have, and I have on the website, and I know you have it already listed there. But if you go to www.faithforwardministries.org, there's a wealth of resources. One of the things you can do is you can definitely contact me. I'm very accessible.
Yes.
The contact form, I respond to everyone. I am never going to feel like or act like I am too big to answer anyone, and people do reach out. So you fill out the contact form and I will definitely talk with you. But we have workshops and seminars that talk about what is holistic faith wellness. We will walk you through making a plan specific for you. So we work with a team of psychologists, social workers, lawyers, therapists, ministers. It's not just me, right? And so I get your referral list together for you, and you do an intake form, right? Just when you're starting with any other major program plan, and we build a program for you. Where
Oh, wow.
what are your goals? Do you want, what is, your goal could be, I want to buy a house next year, right? So we'll set you up with, someone who's not just going to pray with you and get your spirit together, but it's also going to make a plan for how you get your budget together, what investments you need to make so that you can actually purchase that home. That's how you move your faith forward. That's what I mean about, take the faith first and make an action. We'll work with you. You're saying, okay, I need to lose weight because, I have an underlying health condition. Let's say it's diabetes, right? So you already have your medical professional that you're working with, but we will make recommendations, referrals for you, build your plan where it might include a nutritionist. It might include a mental therapist, someone to work with you. That it may include a women's support group that we will recommend and put a plan together that says, okay, you're going to meet with the nutritionist on Tuesday. Let's start there. If your goal, you're telling me, is to control your diabetes, then you need to speak with someone who understands what those, potential food risks are for you and build your meal plan with you. So we're gonna walk on this journey with you. We're not gonna just tell you what holistic faith wellness is and let you walk away. We're gonna work with you. So there are opportunities for those kind of program building consultations. Like I said, workshops and seminars. We have retreats, support groups, and I'm happy about one of them. One of them just started. It just started just out of the blue, really. The Sisterhood Society of the She Shed.
Yes, my favorite Facebook group. I love it. And Dr. Shon, that Facebook group is one of the fastest growing Facebook groups on Facebook for women. I'm telling you.
Especially during the pandemic.
Yes, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yes, join the Facebook group.
Yes. So it's a Facebook group. You can go there. We will definitely love to have more women join us. And it really is intended to be a sisterhood. Sisters, we bond together, we help each other. And, it's an organization. It's private, so that's why I put the society part on there. And then the She Shed can be literally one or figuratively one, but it's the place that you need to go as a woman to get your peace. I'm very serious about that.
Right.
My husband I'm remarried.
Yes.
Gregory Gary, so we can talk about that another time, but God does listen to your actual desires of your heart.
Honey, let me tell you something. God, listen. God, I don't care. Listen, I have had so many women that heard that you were coming on here. And I just want to just interject real quick because I just have to say something for your husband. He is such a wonderful man from what I've seen on social media. But so many women, when I said, Dr. Shon, she said she's going to come on the show. I can't believe it, and they said, well, who is it? So they're Googling, they're looking, and they said, this woman just got married. And I think she's in her 40s, and I'm in my 40s. I thought I was all washed up. Nobody would marry me in my 40s. And she has 5 children. And, it's such a misnomer that women say, oh, when you have a child, no one's going to want you. No one's going to marry you. It's not going to happen. Well, honey, let me tell you something. Mr. Gary said, meet me at the altar in your white dress, honey. We're not getting no younger. We might as well do it. And listen, she twirled and honey got married. I did not even know she was dating. It just popped up. We just went to the courthouse and this is what happened. And I said, you know what? Look at God. Don't tell me what God won't do. God restored you beyond what you could even imagine after you were under the bed. And now God has elevated you. Now, I also, when I have guests on this show, I will snoop and see what's going on. And, and I'm just looking and everything. And I said, wow, she's just started a radio show. Can you just, I know you're busy and everything. I don't want to hold you all night, but I've got to hear about this radio show. I mean, listen, Oprah might be calling you. I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm speaking it into existence. Listen, Harpo Studio is sitting over there empty. Listen, okay? Can you tell us a little bit more about this? It was something that was on TV. It was a radio show. It was huge. There were all types of people and celebrity guests on there. I'm just going to let you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with that and how people can get involved in that as well, because you have so many things that you're doing with this holistic faith wellness. And one thing might not be someone's niche, but you have so many different streams where it's really all inclusive for everyone, for everyone's schedule. Some people might want that one-on-one. Some people might be a little bit more introverted and they just might want to be, look at you on the radio. Some people, it's just, you have so many different avenues for people to really tapped into this, and you can tell it's just oozing out of you. It's just so, you're so passionate about it. And I just love how you're making it so accessible on so many different levels. Share with us how people can get involved with the radio show and the TV show, and it's just all in one. I'm gonna let you tell about it. I get too excited.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the radio show, I'm loving it. It's called The Morning Lift. As its name says, the show is all about holistic faith wellness. It's all about getting your spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental wellness together every week. So the show airs on Mondays, 8 a.m., because it's the morning lift. We got to start our morning out right. It's a new week. We're going to get lifted together. And so it's a radio show, but it's a live broadcast. And so you can actually watch the show as I interview guests, and all of my guests are experts in their own field.
Wow.
This past week was the inaugural show. Yeah. And when I tell you, my heart just leapt with how many viewers chimed in. 1,500 people were watching. Yeah. Where are people coming from? How do they know me? Yes. But you can hear it. You can hear it on iHeartRadio. You can hear it on TuneIn and Spreaker and Apple Podcasts and iTunes, all those things. But you can also watch the show if you want to, get the most out of it. You can watch it on Facebook Live, on my Facebook page, Dr. Shon Kyle. You can watch it there, or you can watch it on Roku after the fact, because it gets loaded there. Okay. On the station itself, it's taped at an iHeart studio called Intellectual Radio. And so they have a YouTube channel that you can watch it live streamed there or play it back later. And then I always save it and then load it to my YouTube channel. So, and I put it on my Instagram at I am Shon Kyle. And so there's lots of opportunities to get the interaction that I'm trying to get across to people, because again, it's not about me. It's about sharing a message. Yes. And wellness. Yes. As you said, this didn't happen to me for no reason. And so I am not here to, just fade into the background as if nothing happened. I don't look like what I went through. Thank God.
You are gorgeous. You are gorgeous. Thank God.
I mean that from the most humble standpoint. I don't mean like that I'm pretty or whatever. I mean, like, I don't look like it because God protected me. And I have,
Jesus.
You see what I'm saying? I have to give him the glory. So yes. I have to give everybody back what he gave me. I didn't, get a PhD and a JD to just, make money and do these things.
And the ED. Wait a minute. Don't forget about the ED. Don't play with me, doctor. Don't play with me, doctor. I don't know what to call you. I don't know if I should call you attorney, doctor, minister. I mean, I just listen.
Yeah. So I'm just enjoying it. So they're all under the same umbrella, though. So they all are part of Faith Forward Ministries, and it's intended to have several components that match what you need at that time. Like you said, you might want to be in the She Shed Society, right? But you might be like, I'm not really a group. It's a fabulous group, so you definitely want to join. But it might not be a groupie kind of person,
right?
Watch the show. If you go on themorningliftshow.com, just go to faithforwardministries.org. You can click on the Morning Lift Show. You can read all about the show. You can see the calendar of who's coming on the show each week.
I like that.
Topics. And I have everything for the fall. All of September and October are up there. I'm putting November up there later on this week. So you can see each week who's coming on. So this person is an emotional wellness expert, or this person is a physical wellness expert, or what have you. I got chefs coming on the shows. I got yoga instructors and meditation therapists. I got actual, psychologists. I got ministers. I got, I'm excited. I got the 40 Plus Double Dutch Club founder coming.
Yes. I saw them the other day. I love it. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm so excited to watch that.
Yes.
I don't watch TV anymore, doctor, because I'm so busy catching up on the different, shows that are out that are really empowering people. I don't have time for all the negativity that's on TV. So, this is perfect where I can just program in my phone. Hey, she's going to have this one on. and I just set my alarm, and I'm like, I watch that all day. I really don't have time for regular TV.
Yeah. And if you miss it, because it is an early show, it's at 8 a.m. on Mondays.
Mhm.
So if you miss it, you can play it later. And
Oh,
I'm
that's what I
excited.
did. I played it
Yeah.
later, a couple hours later. I was like, oh, I got to watch and see what's going on over here, honey, because she's
Yeah.
got experts on here.
And I'm excited that Roku has picked it up. So, you can go to your on Roku on your phone. If, I have a smartphone, so I do use Roku. And so you can, you Google, not Google, excuse me, search the show on Roku, and you can download the episodes, and watch them as a family. It's an adult show, but it's, we're mindful that people have families. So we're going to make sure that, everything is appropriate that we discuss. So, but yeah.
Now, one other thing, Dr.
Mhm.
Shon, because I told you, I investigate, and, back when you were saying how accessible you are, that's what really endeared me to you, because I just had been, a Facebook friend of yours, and I really just admired you. I didn't know the whole backstory, but I just liked your spirit, how uplifting you were. And I was like, and she's pretty too, and she's smart, and just all of these things. And then when I saw that you got married, you didn't let the cat out of the bag. We didn't know it was coming. And I was just so genuinely happy for you that you had reached that level of restoration and what God was doing and the blessings. But now I hear that you're going to be ordained a minister. So it's like, really, with the faith, physical, emotional, and mental, you literally have degrees in every single area. You are literally a subject matter expert. And so for people like me with my one little doctorate, it's like, girl, go sit down somewhere. We're going over here with Dr. Shon. Go sit down somewhere with that one little doctorate, and you think you're doing something. You making the rest of us, I won't say look bad, but it's like, we have to step our game up. It's so much to do, and we don't have an excuse, because you did it with five, not one, not two, not three, not four, but five children. And I saw a little dog also. So there's a lot of living things around that you're responsible for, and a husband, so you really have set the bar so high for us, and also giving us all of these resources. We don't have any excuse anymore. You know what I'm saying, Dr. Shane?
Yeah.
And there's the dog. I hear him, in the back. He's like, that's right. Don't forget about me. So, can you tell us a little bit about, your ordination and how that came to be, as we're getting ready to close?
Sure. When I answered the call to ministry, it came about, actually, I was on a silent spiritual retreat. And anybody who knows me knows it's hard for me to be quiet for 20 minutes, let alone for 3 straight days and 3 nights, right? So, but I did that because I wanted to hear from God. I wanted to hear exactly what he wanted me to do. And that was in September of 2018. So that's how all this ball of holistic faith wellness, I got out of the bed and started doing those things. And so I went to ministry school, and that was important to me. You talk about being a leader, and I want to lead by example, but I want to lead with intention. And it's important to me that if I am going to be in ministry, that I have a background that speaks not just in action, but in education. Education is very important to me. Yes. You need to know your craft. And so I enrolled in ministry school. So in the middle of all this stuff, I'm like, oh my goodness, now I got to do exams and papers. So I went to ministry school last year. I went to the Living Word School of Ministry, and it's a 9-month program, and completed the program, did all my projects, all my teaching and preaching responsibilities to get the certificate in ministry. And then the next level is you apply to be licensed and ordained. And so I did that, and I'm excited, and I'm going to be ordained. And so now I'll be Reverend Dr. Shon Kyle. You know what I'm saying? And so
wait a minute, hold on. Reverend, attorney, doctor, ED on the end.
That's right.
We're not leaving. You earn these degrees. We're not leaving anything out, doctor.
That's right. So that's coming up in about 2 weeks, and I'll be ordained during our faith conference at Living Word. Yeah. So I'm excited about that, and it's not about being a showpiece. It really is just you want to have the credentials to support what you're trying to manifest in life. right? And so I have to walk it like I talk it. If I'm going to speak it into existence and tell other people to use their faith and make a plan, I got to have my own plan and be working on my plan. And so that was a big part of it. I wanted to be an ordained minister. I want to be ready to do people's weddings should they want me to.
Yes.
I'm excited that I can do that. I want to bless some babies. I want to bless some houses,
Yes.
you know, so I want to do those things. And so that's how the ordination came about.
And you know what? The Bible even speaks on that, because he says people will perish for lack of knowledge. And so knowledge is key to everything in life. You know, sometimes, you know, we may not have the whatever to go and get a doctorate or so forth, but you can still seek out that knowledge. You know, that's not everyone's journey to become a doctor or to even get a 4-year degree, but there are subject matter experts, and that's when you do seek out someone like yourself that has, you know, you like a one-stop shop. Okay, it's like anything you know, that I need legal, this, that, and the other. You know, and that's when you seek out the help, and that's when you go to the website and you go and ask, you know, can you help me? Can you support me on my journey? He gives people leaders, you know, like yourself. And I love how on the website they can go and come to you and say, you know what, I want to sign up and I want you to devise an individualized plan. I have these goals. But like you said, faith without works is dead. You know, you have to have the works and the action behind it. And, you know, now in hearing everything in totality, I understand why you call it Faith Forward Ministries, because you're using your faith and we're going forward. We're not standing still. Okay, so now that we have the faith, what are we going to do with it? What's the action plan? What's the timeline? Now, one question that I did have, if someone signs up online for the individualized plan to attain their goals, is there a time limit? Because I know you say you really walk people through it, but some people have short-term goals, some people have long-term goals, some people it might take a year or so. You know, how do you do that as far as with the time on those individualized plans?
Well, that's the beauty of it, really, because the time is really yours, right? Some people are, you know, fast paced and they're runners. Other people are slow walkers, and that's okay too. The important part is that you have made a commitment, and so we
Yes.
make a commitment first that you are going to complete the process, and it's not for our benefit; it's for your benefit. So we're gonna, you know, and it's a team of people who are gonna consult with you. They're gonna come up with what works for what you want to do. Your plan, your short-term or long-term goals has nothing to do with what anybody else can do. It's what you can do. How does it work with your, you know, your schedule and your situation in life? And so what might take someone a year to accomplish, it might take you 3 years to accomplish, or it might take you 1 month to accomplish. It's very individualized. And so, you know, there's no right or wrong, because whatever you put into it, you're going to get out of it.
Yes.
Our goal is to develop one that's reasonable for you and
Yes.
for you,
Yes.
that you can feel successful. I'm not going to give you Dr. Shon Kyle's goal plan. Okay.
Right.
I'm not going to say, this is what I did, do me. You don't need to do me. You need to do you.
Right.
So it's going to be perfect because it's made that so that you can see that you've reached your goals. You can see success. You know, people get motivated by reaching step one and, you know, reaching goal 1 before they go to goal 2 and goal 3. So your consultation and your plan is completely going to be individualized. What we always ask people to do first is buy the book. It's a short 9-day devotional book. It's called I Wrote It, Faith It, Take It, Make It. It's the 3 steps you need to manifest your destiny. You got to faith it. You got to be able to take the process, whatever your process is, and then move that process forward and make it.
Yes.
Walk you through those 3 easy steps.
Yes.
It sounds just that easy because it is. And so it's a 9-day devotional. Read that. If you believe in that method that's in the book, and we sell the book on Faith Forward Ministries website. I believe it's $7.99, so it's not real expensive. If you read that and you're like, Yeah, I get it. I get where she's going. Then we can work with you on the rest.
Wow.
That's how we
I,
do it.
I love that. I love how it's just so practical. Making the commitment is sometimes that's the hardest step because we have everything in our mind of what we want to do. You know, you're looking in the mirror and you're like, I don't like this little fupa right here. But did I make a commitment to stop eating those bonbons? I'm getting there, Dr. Kyle. You know, I don't have the six pack abs like you do.
Don't
You
either.
know, I'm looking at you and I'm like, my God, you know, I'm getting there, doctor. But, you know, it's one step at a time. And we just have to do, you know, everybody is individual. But I love how you are such an example. How, you know, anybody that's coming to you is not going to be able to say that they can't do it, overcome the odds. And with five children and courts and all of those things. So it's possible.
Mhm.
In closing, is there anything that you would just speak to the audience and just give us something? I don't just speak from your heart. If there's someone that's watching, a woman that's going through a divorce, you
Mhm.
know, it came out of nowhere, you know. Then there's a lot of people that due to this COVID-19, they're unemployed. They may be on the verge of losing their home. You know, they're relocated, and it's just so many things that's going on. Can you just give them some encouragement or whatever you feel led to share as we get ready to close?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that. I say get on your knees and pray. Stop what you're doing right now. And I don't mean that genie kind of praying, God, give me this, God, give me that, that begging, he's a genie kind of prayer. No, you get in your prayer closet or wherever you can go away from distractions and you pray specifically and fervently until he releases you to get off your knees,
My God.
to share with him your hurts, your pains. You might say, oh, he knows everything. No, no, no. You need to tell him what the issues are, share with him, and then wait and listen
My God.
to us. We don't always like the answer. We don't like to wait. We want him to give it to us and give it to us now.
Yeah.
There is a scripture that I want you to read. Habakkuk 2, 2 through 4. And this is the genesis of it or the summary of it, that you have to have a vision. He will
Yeah.
give it to you. If you ask him for the vision, he'll give it to you. Write it down. Tell others about it. Wait for it. So have some patience because it will manifest.
Yes.
You have to believe that it will be better.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? So
Yes.
start there, write it down. Whatever he's telling you in that quiet place, it might look like jumbled pieces of paper. Write it down. There will be a time that that will manifest. And you're going to have to wait for it. You're going to have to trust him.
Yes.
Everything that you have. But it starts with your obedience. Your obedience to be still, pray about it, and wait for it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can do it.
Yes. You can do it. You
You
can
can
do
do it.
it. Dr. Kyle, we would like to thank you for being featured on live on Candid Conversations with Dr. Carla, talking about holistic faith wellness. I'm just so full right now. I can
Mhm.
barely get the words out because this has been such a powerful broadcast. I know that so many lives have been changed and encouraged and empowered. You are such a powerful woman of God, loving. You give so much of yourself to so many people, and it's so evident. You know, I'm proud that to even know you. We're developing a relationship, and I just look forward to, you know, the future. Um, and working with you and getting to know you more and being inspired, because truly you are a world changer. And I just thank God for you. I thank God for what He's doing in your life. I thank God for where He's brought you from because you are an example to other women. You just don't even know it. Just the fact that you're here and you give of yourself and you're not puffed up or anything. You're so approachable. You didn't know me from a can of paint. And I just went in your inbox and said, I've been watching you and I admire you. Can you please come on my little show? And you were like, sure. What dates do you have? And I'm like, wow, she didn't ask, you didn't ask for me to pay you a retainer with all of these accolades. Some people would say, charge 250, 2,000 an hour for this time. And you just did it without hesitation. And I just thank you for that. You don't know how much that encouraged me to keep going with this because it's not easy. And so I just really know that everything that you shared and all of the resources that you have out here for women are so valuable. If anyone is watching this broadcast and would like to contact you, her email and website is on the screen. Please go to her Facebook page. Can you say it? Because sometimes I get a little tongue tied, Dr. Kyle. It's the society. Can you say it for me, please?
Okay. Yes. For women who are seeking peace and
Yes.
want to bond with other women,
Yes.
called the Sisterhood Society of the She Shed. And we'd be
Yes.
happy
Yes.
to meet you in the She Shed.
Yes, yes. And so if you would like to purchase my book, you can see it on my website, which is vetscan.com. If you would like to book a speaking engagement or become part of my mentorship program, please email me at vetscan@gmail.com. If you are a woman and you would like to be empowered, please join the Facebook group Candid Conversations with Dr. Carla. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, health is wealth.